two Bank of England governors, no optimism from either one of them. How important is that for the British in the negotiating process?
Good morning, Belle. I think this is an important intervention from the former governor of the Bank of England, Lord Mervyn King. Now, there'll be those who are on the hardcore Brexiteer side that will say that this is yet more Project Fear. But in Mervyn King's case, I don't think this is correct, because he is himself a Brexiteer, but he is criticising really the process, what's been going on behind the scenes. Now, in this interview with the BBC, he says on the preparedness, it doesn't tell us anything about whether the policy of staying in the EU is good or bad. It tells us everything about the incompetence of the preparations made for it. So he is blasting the government and the civil servants that have been going on. He says that it beggars belief that the sixth biggest economy in the world is having to talk about stockpiling medicines and food. And he says that these 11th hour preparations are really undermining the credible bargaining position of the government, because the people of Europe want to do a deal, but they know that we don't have the preparations in place, which he says would take years to do properly, to walk away. So Mervyn King saying that he thinks we'll end up with what's known as a Brino, Brexit really in name only, some sort of fudge compromise that will mean this just goes on and on because no side is happy. So quite an extraordinary intervention from a former governor of the Bank of England.
And just a few weeks ago, we were talking about who might be the next Bank of England governor. Now we know it's going to be Mark Carney for another couple of years at least. How important was it that he stay on, and why is it important?
Well, Mark Carney came from Canada. He was doing this 5-year term. It was thought when he came, he was brought over by George Osborne, the former Chancellor, that he might go on for longer than that first term. But with all that's gone on with Brexit and the kind of interventions he's had to make and the criticism he's faced, particularly from key Brexiteers like Jacob Rees-Mogg, who've said that he's given false predictions of what would happen and been a key part of the government's Project Fear during the referendum, it was thought that he was going to go back to Canada as soon as that term was done. We know that he possibly harbours some political ambitions in his own country. But Mervyn King yesterday in front of the Treasury Select Committee saying he would might be willing to stay on to make sure it's a smooth transition was quite remarkable. It's unsure yet whether this would be for a full another term. I doubt that. I think it would just be for an extension of his current contract. But he said that the bank has a duty to make sure that there is this smooth progress through the Brexit programme. And I think really it's also him partially trying to protect his legacy here at the Bank of England, because it might look like if he leaves just in June next year, right after that Brexit point, that he was walking away, leaving the country in the lurch.
OK, and what about for Theresa May? Another testing day for her?
That's right, Theresa May has Prime Minister's questions today, which will be up against Jeremy Corbyn in the House of Commons. Now, her own backbenchers are incredibly unhappy with her, both on the Leave and Remain side. I don't think she's going to be getting much support from them. But what she can do today to try and get out of it is to just bash Jeremy Corbyn on anti-Semitism, because there are still question marks about the definition that the party has adopted and the resistance that there was in that NEC meeting yesterday.